evening and welcome to the Clark County Fire District 6 Board of Commissioners meeting. It's January 5th, 2021, and I will call the regular meeting to order and ask for any additions to the agenda.
None here.
None here.
Excellent. We need to read and approve the minutes of the December 15th, 2020 regular meeting.
Move that we dispense with the reading and post as necessary.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence, please.
We have one piece of correspondence in your board packet. Essentially, it's a filing from PERC to notify the district that Local 1805 has officially merged with Local 452.
And PERC sent that. Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Citizen communication. This is the time during the board meetings we set aside for any citizens that might have any questions concerning Fire District 6. Since we're virtual, you can type in questions over on the right-hand side there if you're on YouTube, and between now and the end of the meeting, if any questions pop up, we'll be notified and we'll address those. Committee reports, health and safety, no report. Parade, no report. Risk management group, Commissioner Pfeiffer?
Yeah, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock is the meeting.
Oh, it's tomorrow morning. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Call your attention to the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to the chief's report. Go forward, Chief.
The first thing in the chief's report is the personal action report. So we've had a number of volunteers resign. Volunteer Jack Etherington was recently hired at Portland Fire, so we're excited for him. And then volunteer Darren Lefevre took a new job in Eugene, Oregon, so he has resigned. The other 5 volunteers that resigned recently decided not to continue ahead with the support services program, so that leaves us with 12 volunteers that will stay in that program. And then, of course, we have Nancy that retired, and thank you everyone for coming to her ceremony. And one addition I wanted to add to that is, or actually 2 additions. We had a firefighter resign right before Christmas. That was Josh Weston. And so with that resignation, we brought on our alternate in the hiring list. So we're hiring 11. And the alternate that we're hiring, his name is Patrick McGreevy. He was actually a volunteer with District 6 from 2005 to 2008. And he's currently working for Columbia River Fire.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, that name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Let me see that.
I don't have a formal facilities report, but I just wanted to let the board know that we are moving ahead with the concrete project at 62. Chief Newberry has that scheduled out and a plan to make that happen. So it will happen in a couple phases, but that's our big facility project at the moment.
Should I assume that we're moving ahead with Station 6-1 appropriately?
Correct. Yeah, we're working with McKenzie, and he's in the beginning design phases with that.
Thank you.
So there's 3 items of information under the COVID-19 update. The first is a memo from Captain Simica that outlines how the district is going about our vaccination process. He has just been instrumental throughout this whole process, and I can't say enough about the good work that Captain Simica has done, but considering that we've only had 1 person in the whole district test positive for COVID, it's kudos to the proactive work that he's been doing. But he is getting everyone vaccinated. You can see in his memo how the priorities of the vaccinations are going. It has been where we've had some cancellations, and it's just last minute. If you can pop in and take the vaccination, he's filling those spots accordingly. You also have the situation rep from Cressa in your packet that goes over the number of COVID cases. So currently in Clark County, we have 13,692 positive tests, 976 active cases, and 144 deaths as of, I'm not sure what the date was on that. It was last week, late last week.
Right.
Any questions for the chief?
And then I just wanted to give you, the year-end COVID data. My computer's
Okay.
just a little slow loading. That's just, you can see that graph. It's an overall from the state of the year-end COVID data. So you can see that we are spiking starting in November. That was it for COVID.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate the updates.
Okay, we're moving on to old business, which shows nothing. Is there any old business that anybody would like to bring up? Hearing none, new business, we'll do election of board officers, committee assignments first.
If it's appropriate, Mr. Chairman, could I move that we retain all the current positions for one more year, if it's amicable for everybody?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, I need a motion then from one of you gentlemen.
I just made it.
Okay,
Second.
okay, moved in second, we continue forward this year with the same board positions as last year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. As far as committee assignments go, I was going to leave those the same unless one of you gentlemen want to move or drop a committee or whatever. Do you have any wants as far as that goes?
No, I'm good, and I kind of thought that we implied that we'd stay the same, but
Okay.
it's so riveting out at 15-1, I could hardly stand it.
Well, Commissioner Piper's getting his feet wet with the risk management, so that's good too. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sounds good.
okay,
I'm in.
very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
We're going to move on to Resolution 2021-1. Turn that over to the chief or the secretary of the board, one of the two.
Do you want me to take that, Secretary Taylor?
Sure, if you like.
So the county informed us that there was an adjustment to our EMS levy amount. That adjustment was at about $400, and then an administrative refund that we can't put into the fire budget since we're already at the maximum collectible amount. So we would like to make a resolution to amend the preliminary EMS budget to include those finances.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2021-01.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Policy 1088, Family First Coronavirus Act.
So if you remember in April, the board adopted policy 1088 that relates to sick leave for COVID. The district specified sick leave for COVID exposures and for quarantine, and then we eliminated some of the other parameters that were included in COVID leave. You do not have to give COVID leave to emergency medical responders, but the board was gracious and did that. With COVID not going away, we'd like to extend that deadline that expired December 31st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. We figured that March 31st date gave us time to get our personnel vaccinated. It wouldn't renew those 80 hours, but continue those 80 hours.
Chief, can you elaborate on how helpful and how much it's been utilized to this point?
So, like I said, we did have one employee that tested COVID positive. They were able to use that COVID leave for the majority of the leave that they needed to have, and on average, it's about 2 weeks. We also, if you remember, we had the first 2 employees that ran the first known COVID call in Clark County, so they utilized that COVID leave for their quarantine period. And then we've had a handful of other personnel that have been required to be quarantined due to potential exposure. So in order to use that COVID sick leave, they have to have a doctor's recommendation to be quarantined or to be off work.
Very good. Well, thanks for the synopsis on that. That it's been helpful and a useful tool, so we've got some resourceful humans who are not afraid to use it. And with that, I'd make a motion that we extend this until March 31st of 2021.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief. I'm going to move workshops needs to the very end. We have a couple that came on today. One of them surplus, Chief.
Yes, that's correct. So
What did I miss, Cressa? Wait a second.
Yeah.
We gotta pay Cressa.
That's not on the one I printed out. I just saw that. Okay, let's go back to Cressa. And obviously, the chief has a limit. And we did get a bill for Cressa. I believe in the past, Commissioner Collins helped me out. I think we told the chief that that's a pretty standard bill that comes in every quarter, and she doesn't need to bring that to us every single quarter unless there's a drastic change in the amount that we're billed. If the board members are okay with that, I just think that we should give the chief permission to go ahead and pay the Cressa bills throughout the year, not anticipating an increase.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'd like to know if there's a spike.
Okay. Usually they give us the total year payment, and we place that in the budget. So I usually know at the year, and then they just we just pay out quarterly.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for all intents and purposes, move for approval to pay this invoice C1023-172.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. I don't know why. Okay, can we move on to surplus?
So there is also a volunteer program update, Commissioner Lasbeck.
How come I don't have that on the agenda I printed out? Gosh darn it.
I had a couple additions late in the day.
Okay, but I didn't get that either. I must not have refreshed. So go ahead with the volunteer update.
So as I said, we had about 5 volunteers resign recently, but we are moving ahead with that support services program. We have 12 volunteers that are continuing with it. 11 of those are maintaining their EMT. And so we plan to start that March 31st, 2021. However, that date is fluid with COVID. But in the meantime, those 11 personnel that have kept their EMT certification, they are still continuing that training either online or in small groups. So we have it on the radar. We're just waiting for COVID to slow down.
Okay. Did I miss anything else before we get to surplus?
We have surplus and Knox med vaults.
Okay. And we'll do workshop needs at the end then. Okay. Go ahead and do surplus. Thank you.
So there's a list for surplus equipment in your packet. This is past MSA, SCBA stuff that we no longer need because we've switched to Scott's. So we'd like to surplus that. We do know some departments that are in need of it. So I would ask the board if we could surplus at the chief's discretion.
Did we get a trade-in on any of this stuff?
Some of the stuff we did, yes.
Okay, but not this.
Mm-mm.
I would prefer that you try to find some departments in need that can use it before we send it to auction, like you said, which is your prerogative.
I agree. And I like hearing about those success stories of finding good homes for it. So you continue, and I'll make a motion that we declare these items surplus and dispense at the chief's discretion.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay. Knox Medical Vault purchase.
So currently we have all of our apparatus have a Knox med vault on them. These house our controlled meds. This is regulated by the DEA, and these meds are very important that we keep locked down and track of. So the current boxes we have, the software no longer supports them. It's also when we have personnel resign or leave, it's very difficult to change the code so that we can lock out people that are no longer with the department. Captain Simica included in his EMS budget, which is in the preliminary budget that the board has approved, to replace these Knox med vaults. We'd like to replace 6 of them this year and then finish the rest of the fleet next year. And they're pretty expensive units. They're $1,880 a piece. And so replace 6 of those plus tax is a total of $12,227.52. And I would like to just add that bid was written in September, but it says it's good till March 31st. So pending no changes, that should be the total.
So my question, Chief, is pushing 4 of them off till next year. Number one, will the price go up? And number two, shouldn't we keep all the same so it's standardized, so the same keys work in the same ones? I appreciate you wanting to push them off till next year, but would it be better if we just went ahead and got all of them now?
We could get all of them now. That wasn't budgeted in the EMS budget, but there is money in equipment. So if that was the board's direction, we would need 10 Knox boxes to do it. And actually the bid in your packet is for all 10,
Right.
not including, well, I'm sorry, it is including tax.
Right.
So that would replace the whole fleet.
I mean, when we're going to do something like that, I know you're trying to save us. It wasn't budgeted. We can pay for it out of somewhere else, and I would think it'd be easier if everything was just the same, especially when it comes to med vaults. But that's just my opinion. I don't know how the other board members feel.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Commissioner Losbeck. Chief, the version 2.5 that's listed here, what's the lifespan of these Knox vaults? I'm not really familiar with these particular ones.
Mm-hmm. I don't have an exact answer for you, Commissioner Pfeiffer. I'm sorry. It all depends on when the software changes and when they no longer support it. So it's kind of up in the air. We've had the other ones for probably close to 10 years.
Oh, okay. Is the district able to facilitate the installation on their own, or is that a part of this as well?
They can, yeah. So
Okay.
Maintenance can facilitate the installation on them.
Okay, perfect. And then I understand the narcotics are stored on each of the apparatus in this vault. Do you have one of these vaults in a facility for the restock purposes, or how are those? Do you need one for that purpose, I guess?
We do have one in Station 6-3's facility, and Captain Simica already ordered the updated vault for that one. So
okay.
That is our most current vault. Okay,
great. Well, thank you. Thanks for answering those. With that, I would just echo what Commissioner Losbeck said. These are the narcotics aspect of our job is a liability for the fire district, and certainly having these all the same would make the most sense. So with that, I'd make a motion to replace the 10 as originally planned.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to authorize the chief to go forward with the purchase of 10. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen. Quick, since we're on Knox, Chief, we had 2 back-to-back working structure fires last week. One on Mount Vista and one at 10804, I believe. And I think Clark for Engine moved up to Station 3. Is there some way they can get into that station with all the security we have there? Do they have a key to our Knox box to get in the station, or how does that work?
I'm going blank right now. We'd have to ask Chief Newberry. I know when we go to Vancouver, we open their Knox box, and that has the card key, and I believe that's how we set up 63.
Okay, I was just curious.
I know that was on his radar, and there is a way for them to get in. I'm just not exactly sure how we're doing that.
Okay, I was just curious, that knowing that we have good security there, and was just wondering how we were going to handle that. So I appreciate that. That was kind of off the subject, but it was still on Knox box, and it reminded me. So thank you.
And just for the board secretary, that total for the 10 Knox boxes was $21,380.82.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that said, we'll move on to workshop needs or workshop wants from the board members.
Do we have items from staff first that they think are hot button items?
Well, the one thing that I'd like to present to the board, and a workshop forum might be the best way to do it, is just a year in review so that we could go over what we've achieved in the strategic plan and then what we have planned to achieve in 2021.
Would be a good start.
that would be. Thank you.
I would like to include an update on our apparatus replacement schedule if we could. I ask that every year just out of curiosity. I think we're in the process of speccing a new engine at this point or something. And
Yeah.
we got a couple rigs coming. It'd just be nice to update that and to kind of let us know where we are with that. My other one is support volunteers. I think we're gonna have 11. I think we're still taking applications. If I'm not, but I was kind of wondering what our plan is, what we're gonna have them do, how we're gonna recruit them. And after you and I talk as far as insurance on them, all those sorts of things, I'd like to cover in a workshop with the support volunteers if we could.
Okay.
I'm anticipating sometime the future of 151, what that's going to look like. I know it's been impossible with this COVID to forecast it, and I know that the chiefs are going to be working on that. So at the appropriate time, feel free to bring that to us as well.
Okay. Just to circle back to the apparatus, to let the board know, we were supposed to receive delivery of both the training truck and the BC rig. We anticipated into December, but we've just been told with COVID they're still pushing them back. So we don't have an exact delivery date on those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pfeiffer, do you have anything specific, or did we cover mostly for you?
Yeah, I think the four that are listed are a good starting point. This just being my second year on the board, and the first time I'm just kind of seeing the idea of workshop needs was in this agenda. I really don't have anything to add at this point, but I would ask that the opportunity to add that coming up, if that would be okay, to add something to a workshop.
Absolutely. We usually spread them out and do maybe one a month, give staff time to prepare whatever they might want. So I wouldn't anticipate the first one until the first meeting in February at this point, probably. And we'll space them out like that. The chief can come back with some sort of a schedule that works for staff, and we'll go from there. So yeah, you'll have time to jump in there with something if you want.
Great. No, that sounds great. I do appreciate the year in review, and all of these listed are great topics with Station 151 as well. So this will be fine. Thank you.
All right.
Excellent.
On down the road, when you can wrap your mind around it, maybe give us a heads up what the opportunities and challenges would look like with the merger of the unions, and how that's going to play out with City of Vancouver versus our board, and what we can expect as far as when we go to bargain a new contract.
Okay, we have our first labor management meeting January 19th. So honestly, right now, I think staff is not quite sure how that's all going to play out too, but I should be able to have a report for you after that. So
yeah, I don't expect that you know all the answers right now, but just be mindful that we're going to want to know as soon as you find out.
Okay.
With that said, is there any other new business? I'll move on to roundtable. Good of order.
So
I'd like
go ahead.
I'd like to be excused for the next meeting. I'm going to take my bride for our 25-year anniversary. Won't be available.
Okay.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's put up with you for 25 years.
She deserves a trophy for sure.
No kidding. So I've got a couple. We had some personnel that were in the paper. The two folks that were in the paper concerning responding to the first COVID in the county, and also the personnel that were getting shots, I think Lawson and Hathaway. And there were several quotes in both those articles from our personnel, and I just think they represented the district very well. And I appreciate their comments. And firefighter paramedic Hathaway comments as far as how the district has gone overboard to try to keep our people safe, I think is a pat on the back to all the administrative staff and Captain Simic and everybody else that's been involved in that. But I just thought their quotes were really, really good, and I really appreciated it. The other thing is, and I talked to Chief a little bit about this, hopefully the commissioners will have conference in October, and I would certainly like us to enter the Management Excellence Award, and something that takes a considerable amount of time to put together before October. And I suggested to the Chief that maybe Secretary to the Board Taylor, who did our last one, could help kind of put that together. If you go to the Commissioner's website, it talks about what has to be included and all those things. But we've done so many great things in the last year and a half between passing levies and remodeling stations and adding personnel and all those sorts of things. I just think we need to get out there. I don't know if we'll win, but I just think it would be nice if we entered this year.
I agree. We'll do very well. On the same breath, we need to appoint the board secretary again for the year.
We do?
Every year.
Did we give him a raise?
No, we didn't get a raise.
Oh, geez.
We're cutting back.
Okay, so we do need to appoint him. I forgot about that. My apologies.
It's
We're
all
gonna have to go
right.
back-
Old hat, man. I just remember Dick Stransky. It's like, hey, will you stick with us? Yeah.
We'll have to go back to new business real quick if you'll allow me to, and we need a motion to continue David Taylor as our Secretary of the Board.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And at our next meeting, Chief, could you discuss with him a pay increase if he wants one?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't need to cut you out. I was just teasing. So we need to fairly compensate him for his duties, and it's much appreciated and very, very helpful. We hate to lose your knowledge.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So at the next meeting, you can make a recommendation for us, Chief. You can talk to him about it and see what you want to do then. Okay, returning to round table. I'm having trouble tonight, aren't I? Returning to the round table, good of order. Anything else from the other two board members?
I'm here.
Nope, no additional here as well.
Okay. That's
Commissioner
sad.
Loftus,
Go ahead.
I did have I'm sorry. If the board wouldn't mind, I had 4 items for good of the order.
I'm sorry. Jump right
That's
in
okay.
there.
The first item I just wanted to report to the board is with the local 452 merger, there was a change in how the e-board is constructed. These haven't been confirmed yet, but as I understand it, the votes have been placed and these people were had the highest votes. So the vice president of local 452 is going to be Ryan Reese. We have a unit vice president that represents District 6. That will be Casey Taylor. And then there's 3 shop stewards who were nominated and have the highest votes, and that's Max Olson, Andrew Hodgson, and Tony Losbeck. So we look forward to working with that whole group next year.
Okay.
We also had 3 addendums that were included in the CBA that we needed to address. The first one was wellness. We have a wellness proposal that will go out to the local at their next meeting for a vote. The second one was driver operator. We have a driver operator proposal that will go out to the local at their next meeting for a vote. And the third item on the addendum that we were to complete was to explore the 4-platoon staffing model, and we've completed that exploration.
So are we
Go ahead.
opening up the contract to add these addendums?
No, these were in the CBA that we agreed to negotiate essentially outside the contract as addendums. So we said we'd form small work groups and work through these issues. If approved, we will have to change some language to address them in the CBA next negotiations.
So, are we being asked to approve that tonight or next meeting?
No, it's just going out for vote at the local. So,
Local level, okay. And do you know what the financial implications of those are?
I can give them to you at next meeting, but we budgeted for them because the addendum said that we were going to explore those and go into negotiations on them. So I have budgeted for those items.
Are any of the wellness providers doing wellness right now with the COVID?
Portland Adventist is currently doing wellness. They social distance and use precautions, so they are.
Okay, thank you.
And that's also where we sent our new employees for their firefighter physicals.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to report is we donated 60 smoke detectors to Casper Recovery Housing. That's the old Value Motel that now will be a recovering housing unit. So we were able to donate to that project.
That's awesome. Was the Lions involved in that at all?
I don't know if they were or not. Dave Schmicke handled that donation. So.
Nice. This is good stuff.
And then the last thing I wanted to report is the district had last year as one of our priorities a big push to get our firefighters IFSAC Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 certified. Thank you to Captain Grant, who really headed that up, and then a number of personnel who helped with the evaluation processes. We've gotten all of our personnel, Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2, with the exception of one, and the majority of our personnel hazmat ops and awareness certified. So they anticipate by March or May of next year, we will have 100% of the department. What that does for us is reduce our training required hours by half for WSRB. So,
Oh, that's great. Very nice.
Excellent.
and that's all I had.
Does anybody have anything else that I missed?
Nah, you did good.
Oh my goodness, it must be. I thought I was going to leave 2020 behind, but apparently I didn't. So, brain freeze. Okay, with that said,
You do have one comment, Commissioner Losbeck.
go ahead.
No, you do have one comment in the comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't have my laptop open.
It's from Ryan Reese, who wishes everyone a happy new year and a positive and productive 2021.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, and same to you.
So with that said, we need to authorize the payment of current bills, pre-authorization transmittal, authorize monthly commissioner compensation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that said, thank you, everybody, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.